Friday. I've got my essential cup of tea. It's 10 o'clock. The shop's ready. Lights are on, stuff's outside, blinds are out, I've swept up outside. Let's see. First things first, I'm going to make a list so that I've got a list to work to, because I haven't really got any plans. It's about 11:20. It feels a bit busier today, but I've not taken a lot of money yet. Fingers crossed I'll have some more people in. A guy just walked in and went, "Wow." And I thought, oh, that's a nice compliment. And then he said, "I thought it was a newsagent's. I wanted a notebook." Hasn't been a newsagent's for 8.5 years, something like that. So it's a long time since he came in. And then it occurred to me that people who have only been watching my channel for a while might not know the story of how I came to have this shop selling vintage, antique, secondhand and new stuff. So I thought I'd do a little quick summary of how I got here to this point in my life. So basically, we bought this as a newsagent's 16 years ago, is that right? Yeah, 16 years ago. It was a bit dated, but we boosted it up and got it going. It had, just in this corner of the shop, it had art materials and some stands with paints and things like that on. Everything was covered in a thick layer of dust, and we had never sold art materials before, so really didn't know anything about them. So left them till last. So we sort of upgraded the rest of the shop one bit at a time, and as we went round, there was lots of card stands selling greeting cards, a huge sort of selection of chocolates and sweets and drinks and ice creams and everything you'd expect in a newsagent's. So we upgraded all that, and we got to this art section and we thought about it, and we had two choices. We could either take it out and get rid of it, or we could upgrade it as well and improve it. So we thought we'd look into upgrading it and improving it, and we found some good suppliers. The old owner would go through a wholesaler and would get his stock from there, and we decided to go direct to the distributors and get better prices that way. So we started negotiating and getting better prices. We then sold on eBay, became power sellers on eBay, selling art materials, and then my husband decided he wanted to open an art shop. So we rented another shop in Budley Salterton and ran that as an art shop. Less than a year, we opened another shop in Topsham in Devon, near Exeter, and ran that as an art shop. So we had staff in here, and he would run one and I would run the other. Then we moved from the Budley Salterton shop, because it was a bit quiet, to Exmouth, which is a much bigger town, and it was a lovely shop. It had huge windows, lots of light. It was a nice square, so it was good for displaying things. It was a really, really nice shop. Unfortunately, it wasn't well supported. Exmouth is a strange town. There's plenty of people there, but nobody wanted to spend any money. So it was very, very quiet. Meanwhile, at this point, I had a few issues. I was suffering a bit with depression, basically working really, really hard and struggling with stuff. It just coincided with the kids getting to that age where they don't need their mum so much, and I didn't feel like the job was fulfilling to me at all in any way. Anyway, so my husband suggested that maybe we should start selling, because we had given up on the eBay by then because it was too much. That we suggested that maybe we should start selling online again, to look at Amazon and Etsy and stuff like that. So he found Nick's channel. Selfie in a vase and letting me down. My husband found Nick's channel while he was trying to find how to sell on Amazon, and he started watching Nick, became a big Nick fan. It was always a bit of an in-joke at the dinner table, as Darren would tell us all about what Nick had said. Anyway, and also discovered that you could sell on Etsy. And then he said, well, we don't always just have to sell the art materials, we could sell other stuff. We could go to Car Boots and pick things up and sell them. So we had a look. We went to Car Boots and we found some stuff. And I was drawn to the vintage and that sort of side of things, not so much the games and everything else. And that was the seed of how it started. And I did miss a bit out, which was that about 8 years ago, a massive Sainsbury's was built just behind us, which made the newsagents less profitable, basically. And we'd changed this shop into an art materials and cards and stationery shop, and got rid of the newsagent side of it, which meant that we didn't have to work 364 days a year. And it just made life a little bit simpler. So this had already changed from a newsagent's into an art shop, and it was doing okay. It was fine. It's just that my heart wasn't in it. So I was selling a lot at antique centres, in antique booths and things, and doing Etsy. And it got to the point where I was renting 2 spaces out at Bridport, 1 in Honiton and 1 in Exeter. So I was paying out quite a bit in rent. And then I started just putting a few bits in the window here, and they started selling. So I started increasing my space in this shop, taking over more and more space. And eventually I got to the point where it's like, oh, I'm kind of like taking over half the shop with my stuff, and I'm still paying out rent to all these other places. Wouldn't it make more sense if I just took over this shop rather than paying out the rent to the others? And there was other financial incentives, let's say. So that's what we did. So that was about, I always lose track of when it was, but I guess it must have been 3 years ago that I took this on. Initially I still had card stock, so I had to clear that card stock first. And so it's been a gradual process to get to this point now. There we are. Brief summary of how I came to have a shop selling vintage and antiques and secondhand stuff. It's all Nick's fault. I just did the weirdest thing. I watched my first ever YouTube video back, just because it's been like 4 years and I didn't know what I'd said or anything. So I'll link it and so you can watch it if you haven't already. One thing that really surprised me was how open and honest I was. And I mean, that's what I try and be in all my videos, but it surprised me that I was like that right from the start. Anywho, right, better get on. I have listed a few things on Etsy and something's just sold. Hurrah, 12:30. I had a bit of a busier flurry. And bizarrely, I'd just been doing that video saying about how I got here and, you know, history of how I got to the shop. And a chap came in, Stuart, and he'd seen me on Nick and Andrea's, there you go, Nick again, and had come in to bought a couple of records. Yeah, just really bizarre, because I'd literally just been talking about how I got there, and he was asking me, so how did you end up here? It was like I was having to repeat myself again. Really bizarre. Anyway, hello Stuart, if you're watching. I don't think he watches. Then, chap's been in to drop these off. I advertise in here. It's called The Antique Tourist, Somerset, Dorset and Avon. And basically it's a list of all antique shops and that kind of thing in this area, antique centres and things, so that if people want to go and do a tour of all the antique shops and things, they can do it. So I advertise in there. Let's see if I can find my advert to show you. It's only a little one. Hang on, bear with. Oh, can't find it. There it is. Right, I'm thinking it's time to get some stuff in and put a sign on the door and go and get myself something to eat. And a cup of tea, it's cold. It's been a better day today. I mean, not like outstanding, but I've had more people in, a lot of browsers, which is good, but it just means I can't, look at my makeup. I can't get on with things, and I've got my mask on all the time. But it's pouring with rain now, so that might be it. I did tell you that I'd had a sale on my Etsy. I took a little video of it to show you, but I had people in, so I couldn't like talk. But I'll put that in just to show you what's sold on Etsy. Predictably, the rain has scared the customers away, but it's given me a chance to pack that Etsy order and yeah, just tidy up and do a few bits that I wanted to do. As I'm walking around, I can see where I need to do stuff, like in here. You can see where there's gaps where I've sold things, and this all looks untidy because I open up at the back and I can't see what I'm doing. And down here is all gappy. Look at that space. Right, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Get on with some work, edit this video, get it up, and I will see you soon. You know what I'm gonna say? Oh, before I do, make sure you leave a comment, give me a little thumbs up. Oh, one of you is really slacking because I'm getting my one thumbs down every video, but the other one, normally I get 2. One of you out there is slacking, not giving me my thumbs down. So thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever you want, it's all engagement. But yeah, leave us a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I sound like a professional. Take care, stay safe, see you soon.